Good morning, good morning, good morning everyone, and welcome to balance class with the Maine Strong Balance Center. Did you like my lovely little trick? I am using our river stones here at our clinic in Scarborough, Maine, and just trying to get everyone in the mood for some balance this morning. We're here for our third week of class, at least our third week presented in this new virtual fashion. So we're just trying to get in touch with everyone out in the community. And hopefully you're tuned in and you're here for about the next hour working on some balance exercises. We have all sorts of interesting things lined up. My name is Kathleen, and I am going to give it a few minutes here, just waiting for everyone to get on board with the live video. And then we'll get started with our warm-up, some balance exercises from there, and some strength as well, because strength is very critical when it comes to balance. Okay, so if we all hang tight here, I think right around 9:30, maybe a few minutes after, we'll get started. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna go grab some water, but I'm here. Hello, good morning. I see a couple people have joined. My name's Kathleen, and we are getting into some balance exercises today. And it'll just be a few minutes before we get started. Just waiting for everyone to get situated, and 9:30 is our typical start time. So hang around till then, and we'll be exercising together. Thanks. Feel free to drop any questions you might have in the comments section during this time period. Before we get started, I'm available to answer any of those questions that you might have regarding the class. Hello again. I see more people coming in. It's exciting. So here we are for our third week of balance class. If you've been joining us right along, then you have a good idea of what to expect. But otherwise, if you're new to us or have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments section. So I'm keeping an eye on my laptop on whatever we've got. People typing in questions so I can answer them verbally here. And I can't see any of you, unfortunately, but you can all see me. So, we got a good one. Good morning, Candace. Nice to see, well, not see you as well, but hear from you. Good morning, good morning. And Jordan as well, I'm sure. Hello. Every time I take a look, there's more people that have joined, so I'm just gonna keep saying, hi, I'm Kathleen, and I'm from the Balance Center, and we are working on balance exercise this morning together. I'm just hanging out here for a few minutes waiting for 9:30 to tick by so that we can get started, waiting for everyone to get joined and situated. A couple things, actually, now would probably be a good time to mention what you need in your setup. So as we exercise, we're going to be using a chair for a lot of our strengthening things later to come in the day. And I've got mine set up back there. It's a sturdy chair. Something without wheels would be preferred, something that you can put your weight into, a trustworthy surface to stabilize yourself on for the balance exercises. So I'll be using my chair for both circumstances, our strengthening exercises and balance-oriented exercise. But if you'd like to set up in front of a kitchen countertop or in the corner of a room, you can do that as well, and those are good ways to stay safe while you do these exercises. Always having something nearby to stabilize yourself in times of need. And before we get started, you could grab some water, might need to hydrate a bit throughout. Any other questions? I'll hold off for another minute here just to see if anyone's got questions before we start. And otherwise, I think we're gonna go right into our warm-up exercises, and this is how we're gonna start our Monday, and it's gonna be great. We're all in it together. Everyone that's in looks like they're settled, and if you do have any questions throughout, type them right in and I'll do my best to answer as we go along. I did a little trick before everyone got here, so I'm going to do it again. Aha! Balanced, right? Those are our river stones. That's something that we use at the clinic to make for a surface that's a little bit trickier than working on flat ground. So your feet learn a little bit better how to keep yourself stable, and in turn send messages to your brain sends a message outward to your feet. So that's something that we do to practice those, getting our balance systems working a little bit more efficiently. We won't be doing any of those today, but that's just a sneak peek of something that we do here. And they're nice and colorful and little joyful pieces to add to the day, I think. I like them. All right, I'll clean these up. I'll introduce myself yet again. I'm Kathleen, and I am from the Balance Center. And if you'd seen our page at all, you know that we are a physical therapy clinic, and we work on balance with people. We work on all sorts of things, so just about anything physical therapy related, we are able to accommodate. And even in cases where people are coming in for things like acute or chronic pain or post-surgical cases, there is an emphasis on balance that we take here to really get people heading out the door in a safe and ready way and feeling like they're balanced. So that's something that we're working on. And I myself, I'm not a physical therapist, but we have a lovely array of them who work here. And maybe you've had one in the past or worked with one of our therapists here. So we've got a good team. I am part of the clerical staff, and also my background, I graduated the University of Rhode Island with a degree in exercise science. So I am hoping to or I'm working towards getting a degree in physical therapy at some point in the near future, so I'm hoping to return to school. But that's what we're up to. If you have any questions about that, you can call us or message us. And without further ado, let's get warmed up. And as we do our warm-up, we'll be seated for actually the entirety of the warm-up, so you can come into your chair and take a few moments here to think about our posture. You can start from the floor, up, looking down at your feet, checking out the distance between them, making it about hip width, and planting them into the ground, so really getting that sensation of muscle activation in your legs. You can kind of push with one and then the other, and keep it level between the two as we go throughout these warm-up activities. And you can feel that pressure igniting the muscles in your legs. After that, a little bit of a pelvic tilt forwards, so like you're tucking your tailbone underneath of you. Your torso and your spine will come into a line a little bit better. You can relax your shoulders at your sides, so dropping all of the tension in your neck as best you can. And a chin tuck at the end, just a slight chin tuck. We'll do some breathing with arms coming up with our inhale and down with our exhale. Up with an inhale and down with our exhale. Breathing is always important, but maybe perhaps now more than ever, giving ourselves a chance to slow down. We'll take a few more of these breaths, filling our bellies as best we can with air. One more. Okay. From there, we'll do neck rolls. So our neck will hang in a circular motion. And this is all up to you, the distance that you're going, how big your circle is. If you're having any pain with this, really limit that motion. You can make very small circles. Find the spot where you're getting that mobility, but you feel comfortable enough to work your way around. And you can switch directions. How's volume? Am I loud enough? I always have trouble projecting. So if someone wants to let me know how I'm doing on that, that would be great. All right, bring your head back to neutral. So right back to the middle, and we'll do some shoulder rolls. So picking your shoulders up and rolling them back down your spine. Really pinching from behind here. So sometimes we tend to pull up from our neck, but really try to relax whatever tension you have here and pinch from behind. And roll forwards. So switch. Still pinching from behind, so you want that same muscle activity in the back. And relax. Okay, next we'll do our hands and our arms. A little bit more shoulder activity here in the back. So you'll be coming across your body with a closed fist. So arms are crossed in front of you, fists are down by your hips, and then you're coming up, pinching from behind again, and opening your palms up wide. I always feel like this one is a magic trick. Like I'm ta-da every time I open my palms up. And next we'll move on to our legs. And we'll be using them a lot later on in our strengthening. We use our legs pretty much throughout the entire course of the class, actually through our targeted balance exercises as well. So it's really important that we spend a little time getting them warm, getting them loose, getting them ready for what we're about to do. So the very first one, you'll be feeling it a little bit warming up your hip area, outside hip. Lifting your foot, bring it out to the side, dropping it down, then bring it right back in. And switch sides, over onto the other leg. And alternate, so right and left. Just giving a tap on the outside, really trying to get your foot up off the floor, right on through. And when you return to the middle, we'll come into our seated march. So here, feel free to get your arms active, get your knees up. So you want to be able to get them up as high as you can, whatever distance makes sense for you. Feet are coming up off the floor as best you can. And we're breathing. We're really, really warming up now. This will do it. I feel like I need some music to march to, right? Couple more seconds. And that'll be it. Slow right down, bring it to a stop. Okay. And lastly, we'll warm up our ankle joint. Some of you may have done an ankle alphabet in the past. This is pretty similar. You're thinking of your big toe like it's a writing utensil. So it's like a pencil or a pen or whatever you like to write with. And the floor is like a piece of paper. So I'll move back a little so you can see. We're basically writing with our big toe, if you can see the way I'm moving my foot. And we're trying to limit this motion to our ankle to get the best warm-up that we can out of this. And with our right side, with the kind of, I go by the weather often on these. I don't know. It's still the morning time. We're paying attention to how the weather's rolling out. It's raining, in Maine at least. So we're gonna write rain boots with our right foot. I wore mine in today, so. Rain boots. Okay. And with our left foot, we'll write our first and last name. All right? That's hopefully no one's cheating with nicknames or initials or anything like that. You gotta get through all those letters. All right, I made it. Might take everyone else an extra second depending on how long your name is. Okay. I think we'll get right into our balance exercise. I feel like I had something important to say. Oh, I remember. I was gonna hope it's not super important, but I hope that everyone had a good Easter with their families if they celebrate, or Passover if you celebrate, whatever holiday just came around for you. I hope you were able to connect with your family in one way or another, whether that be virtually or if you're in the same home as them, in person. Hope everyone got a chance to connect, basically. That's a good way to get started. All right, so we're gonna get right on our feet for these balance exercises. Before we do start them, I'll give you a little rundown on what we're up to, because they are perhaps a little bit more unusual than an exercise that you've done in the past. But they're very beneficial for your balance. They're targeted balance exercises that work directly on enhancing the systems in our bodies that contribute to balance the most. So what we do to accomplish this, we stand in strange positions, and by doing so, our body learns better how to stand on a normal day-to-day basis in like our normal walking stance, or different positions that we have to make adjustments for in daily life. So the piece on safety, we will be using our chair or whatever surface you have available to you for a bit of support here. And by support, I mean your chair or your surface will be a reset button. So you want to hold on to get yourself stabilized, and then be able to release and stand independently we'll go for about a minute for each exercise. So you want to have this available to you in times of need to reset, but you also want to give yourself the opportunity to stand freely. The positions that we'll use, they're balance positions. The first one that I would recommend if you're just getting started is feet together. If your feet are together and touching each other, things are a little bit trickier than a normal stance, and that challenge is really beneficial for furthering your balance ability. As we do this, we're challenged, and our brain and body has to make adjustments that we learn from as time goes on and as we test these positions more and more. So this is position number one. The second is a semi-tandem. One foot slightly in front of the other. The third is a full tandem. One foot totally in front of the other. And then beyond that, people will do one-legged sometimes. Rarely though, I would say, especially if you're just getting started, start in position number. Really master each one of these exercises, and by that, I mean if you're able to stand freely for 30 seconds without using that reset button, that's a good time to test the next position. So they work in a progression. 1, 2, and 3. This progression doesn't have to happen all in one day. It can happen over the span of 2 weeks. Whatever your body is telling you is working. But ideally, no matter which position you're using, you want to feel that challenge to some degree, maybe a little bit of wobbliness, and that's okay. But you want to be able to be benefiting the most as possible per each exercise. So really, work your way through this. And if you have any questions, ask me, give us a call. But we will try a minute in whichever position you use typically on a typical basis, or if you're just getting started, try that feet together position and see where that takes you. I've got a clock over here. I'll keep an eye on it. So spend a minute in this position. Just getting warmed up here. Well, not this position, but the position that suits you best. I'm leaving it up to everyone to choose their own and really tailor that to their situation and whatever seems to make sense. See, as I'm working here, it's a little tricky, so I can feel it's a little unsteady, and that unsteadiness is almost exactly where you want to be as you're doing these types of exercises. Those small adjustments that your ankle makes, you can feel a little bit of wobbliness there. That's where you're learning. there's a minute on that first side. So we're going to switch sides now if you're in a position that it works for. So if you're in the semi-tandem or the full tandem, you're going to switch your footing, bringing the opposite foot forwards. If you're in the first position, feet together, keep going with it. We'll do another minute there. And again, the goal is to make it the whole minute if you can without the reset, but use this reset as much as necessary. Know that if you are using it every 5 seconds or so, it might be a good idea to take a step down and do, if you're doing position number 3 and you're feeling like you're constantly using this reset button, you might want to take a step back to number 2, really get that one down really well before moving forward to number 3. All right, there is a minute. So make a few adjustments as we go on. We'll add different types of tasks and different ways of doing these exercises. So, the different systems in the body that do work on balance, we'll be targeting each as we go along. We're going to do some eyes closed activity. With eyes closed, our visual system is taken out of the equation, and our vision plays a big role in balance. So as we take that out, the other systems have to work a little bit harder, and in turn, they'll learn better during that time. So the very next thing we'll do is the exact same thing, but with eyes closed. And in doing this, it's a little bit trickier than with eyes open because we have less information to pull from. So if you need to change your position, go ahead and do that. We'll do a minute on each side with eyes closed. Okay. Find your breath here too. So this is one, it can feel a little jarring when we first begin. So if you find your breath, try to get your shoulders relaxed. Your legs are probably working pretty hard if you're, in that challenging type position. About a little over 10 seconds left. Keep going. All right, there we are. Good work, good work. And from there, take a second to get yourself back in order. Open your eyes, let the light come in, and we'll switch sides. When you're ready, just give everyone a few seconds here. Okay, so switch sides, changing positions. Well, not changing positions, but changing your footing, to be clear. And keeping those feet together. If you are in position number 1, you don't have to worry about switching sides. You're just going to spend more time in this position, really getting it down. And that's important. Those are the building blocks. If you've got the foundation in tow, then you can work your way through the rest another day. All right, so here we are, and the eyes are closed. Working ourselves through this tricky feeling. As best we can, letting your hands hover over the chair as needed, over whatever surface you're using. Just let that be your safety, your reset button. In times where you need to open your eyes for a second to get back on board too, open your eyes, secure yourself, and then resume. A little bit more to go. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. This time investment is really what gets you there with balance. So the more time we spend in these positions, with the add-ons, like eyes closed, things like this, the better we get and the better our balance gets. All right, eyes are open. Okay. So maybe you noticed, maybe you blocked me out entirely because it's so hard to listen to something or do something else as you're balancing. Your body says, I just want to focus on this, what I'm doing right now. I want to focus on this task, and that's going to get me there. So something that we'll add in next is a distraction. As we're distracted, our body has to work a little harder and a little differently to keep us balanced. So the distraction that we'll add in is a mental task. Actually, we'll do 2 and we'll alternate between them because that is proven to really get us in that distracted mode. So we will be standing in our balanced position with eyes closed. We'll be alternating between spelling rain boots. There it is again. I'm going to keep using rain boots. So we'll spell rain boots on the one hand, and then the other task we'll be doing, we'll be thinking of different types of cereal, right? And this is how it works in your head. You say R, Cheerios, A, Wheaties, I, okay? When you get to the end of rain boots, start again, keep going. Here we go. We will stand in our balanced position with eyes closed here. Going through that same pattern in your head. Really taking yourself out of the focus on balance. Okay, come out of that when you're ready. Open your eyes. Hi, Diana. Yes, this is going on now. We're live, and you found us. I'm excited about it. Feel free to join. And we're gonna switch over to the other side now. And we're gonna change our task. So hopefully that worked out all right for everyone. It doesn't have to be right. That's the most important thing. I'm not inside your brain. I'm not, I can't even see anyone right now. So it's okay if you're not totally getting every single letter right every time. The idea is the distraction will help your balance training. Okay. So next we will switch sides, eyes closed again, and we'll be counting backwards from, no one ever likes these ones, the math ones. We'll be counting backwards from 181 by 3. So you'll be going 181, 178, 175, and I'll ask a question, and I'll be interrupting you. You'll answer it out loud and then continue with your counting down by 3, just where you left off. Okay. Sounds fun, right? Everyone's excited, I know. It's good for us, it's good. Okay, so in your balanced position, eyes are closed. Start at 181 and count backwards by 3. What is a flavor of ice cream that you don't like? What is an animal you would see in Florida if you went on a trip there? And say a word that starts with the letters CL. List the colors of the rainbow in order. Uh-oh. And the name of a city in the United States that isn't Portland. All right, that's all. Open your eyes, bring everything back to the middle, shake your legs out of it if you need it. So that's really good stuff. Those are tough to get through, and it just goes to show how multitasking is really difficult, no matter what we're doing. All right, thank you for working through those, everyone. Proud of you. All right, next we will do some head turning activity. Shifting gears a little bit, we'll still be using our balance positions, so getting that type of training, like I said before, for that enhancement of the communication between the body and the brain, so that gets a little bit better as we test these uneasy positions. And we'll also be working on our vestibular system with the head turning component added. That is our inner ear, the part that pays attention to our balance, our sense of balance in terms of if we're coming up into a standing position from a seated, if we're walking horizontally. So there's all different things that this system contributes to, especially related to our, the way our head turns relative to our body as we're walking, as we're moving. So if you're walking out of Hannaford and someone shouts your name from behind and you're turning as you're looking for them, your vestibular system is in play there and throughout many other parts of our day. So here we will be standing in our balance position and turning our head to the left and to the right. Again, adjust your position as needed. So this is a trickier version of exercise related to balance. So if you need to come down a position, go ahead. If you're feeling really good in position number 1 and you're holding it for about 30 seconds without resetting, you can go to position number 2, try it out. They're very malleable. You can work through them as feels good. But continue this left and right. I feel like I was going on a little tangent there. Maybe everyone got off topic, including myself. But keep up with this left and right. Right. You can come back to neutral, switch your feet, your footing position. And we will do left and right on this side as well. we'll keep eyes open for now. We will be doing this with eyes closed in a couple rounds. But for now, pick a focal point on either side of you and keep this motion to your neck. So you don't want to be turning from the hips or the torso or anything like that, really just head turning. And as you're doing so, keep this, whatever range of motion it is that you're working through, at a comfortable distance. So you don't have to be cranking your neck all the way around like an owl looking for, whatever. They can do the whole circular rotation, I think, but just one side to the other. All right, we will switch. Switching sides of our feet, switch our footing position, and we'll do up and down. Same idea, picking a focal point on the ceiling and down at your toes. There's a really bright light above me, so I'm trying not to look directly at it. Keep it up. Good work. All right, you can switch sides when you are ready. And again here, we'll do eyes open, up and down. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So keep working through this. I told you about the vestibular system, how many different kind of daily operations it helps delegate. And two of the pieces of the system coordinate motion when we're turning our head in a horizontal plane and then also in a vertical plane. So that's why we do this exercise in both directions. The two different parts of the system get a little bit of activity through each. So it's helping to keep that, to get that activity to work a little smoother in daily life. All right, come to your middle neutral position. You can swing your arms a bit here, shake the legs. We've been up on our feet for a while. Also a good point at any point in these activities, if you're feeling like you need to come to a seated position, feel free to do so. You can even do a lot of these activities from a seated position. It may not necessarily be the same type of benefit for walking balance, but it will help with sitting balance, and then also the vestibular system will get some activity there as well. If you are sitting, just make sure that you're in this good posture position. You've got a tight core right through, feet are pressing into the ground. Okay, so switch sides. Switch sides, up and down with eyes open. I am very warm. We did that warm up earlier and I'm wearing like a very heavy Norwegian sweater and it's like, I'm really getting there now. I hope everyone else is too, that's a good sign. Few more seconds of this up and down motion. Okay, back to your center. And this is where we'll add in the eyes closed piece of the head turning. So you'll be standing in your balance position with your surface nearby, perhaps hovering over it if you like to do so, just as that extra security feeling. It's important to feel secure in this as you're doing it, despite having that challenge and that little bit of wobbliness. So as we're doing this, your eyes will be closed, head turning right and left. And again, your footing position depends on where you feel comfortable, what is suited best to your challenge level. So find that position, change it as needed throughout these exercises, but per exercise, it's up to you to pick the position that you're working through. Keep up with that eyes closed left and right for just a few more seconds. All right, we'll switch sides. We will switch, and we'll also switch directions. So we'll do eyes closed up and down. Okay? And you might find one is a little more difficult than the other for you, or one seems like it's a breeze and the opposite is like, oh, this is a little bit more challenging. And that's because these two different directions represent different parts of that system. So, they may work a little differently, and that's okay. In each one of us, we might feel those differences. For me, I think up and down is a little bit trickier than the left and right. So just work through that at your own pace. Eyes closed up and down, we're still in it. A little bit more to go. Okay. All right, everyone, open your eyes. Give yourself a break here. Take a seat, whatever you've got available to you. This is my trusty steed here for the day. All right, that was wonderful, I'm sure. I hope everyone's having a good time with it. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. We're gonna go on to some strengthening exercises next. So what we just got through were the targeted balance exercises, really taking a specific look at each balance system in the body and working on making it better. So we're really going to get our improvements in balance there. Also, strength, what we're about to do next, is a big component in balance, and any areas of weakness in the body are correlated to being 2.5 times more likely to have a fall. So really, numbers sound like numbers, but when you apply that practically, having more strength in certain areas of your body, especially these lower limb muscles, can really help with balance and improve our balance over time, our endurance with walking, and power with rising from a chair and things like this. So that's what we're about to work on. I'm reading all the comments now. If anybody has questions, let me know, as always, again. And I think we'll get into these. If we've got it left in us, let's keep going. I'm going to take a sip, and we'll be on. Hey! We've got some great news in the comments. Third class gone from tandem to 1 foot in front. From the semi-tandem. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so the more time you put into these classes, perhaps, you're going to work through that progression a little bit differently, everyone at a different pace, but it's exciting to hear the feedback. I'm really glad that you're making moves with this balance. It's wonderful. It's good to hear. Okay. That being said, we will do our strength together. I'm scooching back so you can see what I'm up to. Okay. Very first thing we do is our sit to stand. And this is mostly as it sounds, as you're coming from a sitting position up into standing. An important thing to pay attention to before we get started on these: knees, try to keep them pointed straight in front of you. So as mine are right now, sometimes we'll edge them out to the side or knock them into the middle, or one going out here and one's going out there, so pay attention to where they fall. That's going to keep pressure even throughout the joint as you're rising, and then also pay attention to the parts of the muscle that we want to be working on right now. Feet are about hip width apart again. You know, we're gonna attempt to do arms crossed as best we can, but if you need the assistance of the chair as you're coming up to push off of, go ahead and do that. That's a good way to get started, and then you can progress into a no arms type situation. All right, we will start with 10 of these together. All right, here we go. Here's one, and it looks just like that, and you come down slow as best you can. So that's 2, here we are. So that's really important. Coming down in a controlled way, you're still spending time working on the muscle there. Here's 3. Here's 4. Also 10 is the magic number for some reason. That's the number we're picking. It's a good number to work towards, but if there's 5, by the way. But if you need to do 6 or 8 or whatever works for you, please do. There's 6 right there. 7. Some people like to do every other and split it in half for 5. Here's 8. All right. 9, one more in this set. And 10. Okay. I was talking about that heat earlier with the sweater. I'm really feeling it now. I thought I was going to be cold today. All right. We're going to do 2 more sets, just like that. Got a message from Ed. Hello, Ed. Good morning. No chairs to set up today, right? Good. Awesome. Glad you're here. And keep going. We've got a little bit left for you. And okay, we'll go into our next set. Good to see you, Ed. All right, for the next set, we'll make a little bit of a change. We'll slide 1 foot forward a few inches. Doesn't have to be terribly far. It can be 1 inch, a half an inch. Similar to the balance positions, it's up to you where your feet fall here. But really, you don't have to go a full stride lengths or anything like that. Sliding forwards a little bit will isolate the back leg in this exercise. You'll feel a little bit more work being done in the back leg. If you like to keep feet parallel, just as they were for the first set, you can go ahead and do both of these next sets just like that. Okay, here we go. There's 1. Slow and controlled on your descent. Here's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Couple more. Keep working. We got it. Here's 8. Whew. 9. Last one for this set. 10. Okay. Good work. Good work. If you're having any trouble coming up into the standing position, if you tuck your legs a little bit underneath of you, so if your legs are out here, coming into standing is a bit harder. You have to use more momentum than strength. So I'm typically about at a 90 degree as I'm doing this exercise. But if you tuck a little bit more underneath of you, not too much, because then, you know, your knees are almost to the ground, but if you tuck a little bit there, coming up into that standing might feel slightly easier or more doable. So pay attention to where your feet fall on the floor as you're doing this. Okay, last set. Switch sides. Opposite foot is slid forward a little bit here, and we'll go for 10 more. Arms are crossed, using your chair as needed, whatever works for you. Here we go. Here's 10, counting backwards because it's more dramatic. Here's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, we're getting there. We're so close now. 3 more. 3, 2, and 1 more time. We'll do it. Everybody breathing, I hope. Here's 1. Woof, we made it. Good job. Good job. Those are tough ones to get through, especially after we've already done a lot of balance work to start. So really good job, everyone. Really, I can't see everyone out there, but I'm proud of everyone who's doing it. I promise. It's exciting to be able to reach everyone at home. And I miss seeing faces, but it's good to be able to share, and hopefully everyone's getting what they need out of it. We'll go into some side leg lifts next. For these, you can join me in standing, and we do these behind our chair. This time, we'll use our chair a little differently. Hold on. Use it to stabilize yourself. Relying on the chair here helps us perfect our form. And if you do feel like you can do this freestanding, go ahead. If you've been working on it for a while and feel like you've got the form down, some people do like to do it as a freestanding activity. Okay, your chair's in front of you. Side leg lift, we're bringing our leg out to the side. Okay, we'll do 10 on the first side. There's 1, 2, these we keep very slow. Here's 3, 4, so try to even out that speed. 5, see as I'm bringing my leg back in towards my body, it's coming in slowly. There's 6, so sometimes we spend all of our work kicking out to the side and then we drop it on the way in. That's probably 8. I think people might have made it to 8 by now. There's 9. Just get to 10 at your own pace, however it works. I always do that. I start talking and then I totally lose track. I have to count on everyone out there sometimes for those kind of things. Okay, anyway, the idea with doing these, sometimes we think all the work is done on the way out, so we just drop it in. But there's so much work to be done on the way in as well, keeping your muscles active throughout that. So really, as we're coming out, we're getting it in the outside hip. Then as we're coming in, we're also really weighing in on that in a different way. So you'll still feel it there. Just keep pushing through that. Try to limit your speed as best you can. We'll do this opposite side as well. Here's 1. Here's 2. 3. 4. Couple more things to pay attention to. 5, keep your toes pointed straight out in front of you. 6, 7, that'll keep us working on that area of muscle that we want to be working on. Here's 8, 9, and our last one, 10. I always misspeak a little bit. Our last one for this set. We've got a few more to do. We're going to make a change as we go on. In these next couple sets, when we get to number 10, we're going to hold our leg out there. I'm going to count to 10, and you're going to work through these little pumps. Okay, so count to 10 for these little pumps, and then bring it back into the middle. Take a little wiggle and rest. We'll do it on the opposite side. Okay? So everything is just as the first set was up until number 10. Then we hold, bring it back into the middle. All right, here we go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trying to keep your torso straight and firm throughout this as well. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, and for this last one, we'll hold for the 10 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back in. Whew. Take a breath. Take a shake. We'll switch over onto the other side. As we do, practice this with me. So our working leg is going to be the one that's coming out to the side. Our standing leg is where all of our weight is put into, and that's supporting us. So in our standing leg, we'll try to have a little bit of softness as we do this. Very important to pay attention to. So if you're standing here with me, put all of your weight into that standing leg, and then find a small, slight bend in the knee. It doesn't have to be anything too much, then we'll be doing a lot of extra work that we don't have to do. But if we bend ever so slightly, our muscles will be doing more work than the joint, which protects the joint and ultimately will leave us feeling better after the exercise is done. Okay, other side. With the softness in our standing leg, working leg comes out for 1, 2, 3, 4, slow and steady, exactly where we want to be. There's 5, 6, 7, torso is firm and straight. You've got this, everyone's got this. Here's 8, 9, last one, hold for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back in towards your center. Feet meet each other in the middle, shake out. All right, one more set on each side. Really feeling this in our outside hip now. This is our gluteus medius muscle, and it helps with one-legged activities, including walking, using the stairs. Anytime where we are in even a snapshot, balancing on one leg. So walking is one-legged. This helps us to keep our hips level, to keep our endurance through that motion. Okay. Finishing these up, starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keep working through it. We've got just a little bit left. Here's 6, 7, 8, 9, hold again for this last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back in. Let things get loose for a second, and we'll move on to the other side for our last set. One, 2, 3. We'll make this our best set. Ready, everyone? Here's 4. Keep going, pushing through it. Here's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one, last hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back in. Whew. Good work. Let yourself get a little bit loose here. Shake those legs. Every time I'm done, it always just feels good to make sure our knees are getting a little bit of movement because they're kind of locked up while we're doing this. Okay, there we go. We'll do one more strength exercise. We're done with those. Really good job. Next one is for the front of our shin. This is our anterior tibialis muscle, which runs along the front side of our shin, really. So kind of like from our knee down to our ankle area. As we're working through this, you are going to be using your chair for stabilization again, pulling toes up towards the ceiling and tapping the floor. So if you're standing in a normal position, rolling all of the way back into your heels so your toes come upward, almost like you had like a leash wrapped around them and you were pulling with your hand. And then just tapping the floor. Okay, we'll do this for about a minute. You can do it 1 foot at a time if that suits you better. You can do it seated as well. There'll be less resistance against the muscles, so it'll feel a little bit different as you're doing it, but there'll still be some benefit there. If you'd like to, you can put all of the weight into your heels and walk like a penguin with your toes pulled straight up towards the ceiling. Depending on how much room you have to move around, you can, kind of use your chair here for support if you like doing it this way. We have options. We have about 20 more seconds. So just keeping up with this motion in whatever way. All right, that's good. Good work. You can kind of do little ankle circles and rest that muscle a little bit. And really there, what we're working on is getting better toe clearance as we're walking. So strength here in the front gives us better ability to pull up our toe as we're walking, which will help from catching the floor or things like this. So that's something that we focus on for strengthening. We're going to go right into our stretching from here. And the first stretch that we do works towards a similar goal as that last strengthening exercise. We're loosening our calf muscle behind the shin. And through loosening that, we actually get a little bit better clearance of our toe as well. Because sometimes if it's tight, it actually strings all the way down through our ankle. So sometimes our ankle will have lesser mobility if we have tightness in our calf. So we're going to stretch it. Standing behind your chair, that's how you can start. Using your chair for balance here, so holding on, finding some security, taking a step backwards with one leg. Distance depends on you, depends on what feels good, where you feel the stretch. So when I say distance, I mean distance in between both feet. Might be lesser or greater depending on your person, whoever you are. And you're leaning into this. So you're bringing your torso forward a bit. Your front knee is staying relatively over your toe, but you do want to sink into this until you feel it in your back leg calf. So the way that I'm set up, I've got my forearms on the chair in front of me. You may be on hands, bending a little bit, wherever feels right for that stretch for you. You want it to be moderate, nothing painful. You do want to be able to feel it, so that's good. That's the goal of it, but you do want it to be a moderate stretch. All right, step forward. Opposite foot goes back. Same thing. Lean forward into this. Hinging at your hips a bit in the back, just slightly. Your back heel, too, very important, should be planted into the ground. Toes are facing forward. As you plant that, you can maybe feel that stretch kind of igniting a bit more. Hanging out here for a little bit longer. It's good. Sometimes holding a stretch is like, wow, that feels like it lasted for 30 full minutes, but it was only a minute. So it's good for us, though. We have to spend the time doing it, and then ultimately we gain, we feel better. All right, come up. We'll do a hamstring stretch as well. And for our hamstrings, you can do this standing with the use of your chair again. You're putting all of the weight into one leg for the most part and propping the other foot up on its heel in front of you just a little bit. So if you see how I am, my back leg is bent slightly, my front leg is up on its heel, or my front foot is propped up on its heel. Your toes want to be pulling towards the ground a little bit though, so have a bit of relaxation there. You can wiggle them to feel it. And then you're hinging from your hips forward. And you should feel this in the back of your thigh and your hamstring. As you're hinging, keep a hold on your chair or your surface. Hinge though, really keep that flat back. So a little bit of tightness in your core will help to do this. And switch sides. Opposite foot is going to prop up in the front. A little bit of bend in the back leg. Folding forward, really keeping the flat back, very important to protect yourself, all of the joints in your spine. So really hinging. I'm turning, trying to find the best way to show everyone. So really you want to hinge rather than bend down like this, so your spine is flat and you're using your chair throughout. Breathe into this. Inhale and send all that air right into the stretch. Sometimes it helps people get through it a little better. Make sure to breathe. It's ever so important. Come up, come out. Thank you so much for joining today. Really glad to have people out there working on everything amidst what's going on. It's been a challenge for everyone to make adjustments in their daily lives, but appreciate getting some people on here and really working on these exercises, and proud of everyone out there, like I said before. And we'll be back again next week at the same time. You can revisit older classes on our Facebook page here. Feel free to share them with others as well. So a lot of people might not know us or know what we're up to, and might feel like they'd appreciate some at-home exercise right now. And if they're a Facebook user, we'd be happy to have them join us on here. That's part of what we're doing. We're trying to get the word out and make sure that people are staying active during this time. Hope everyone is safe and healthy and well, and hope to see you at some point soon. And I'll be signing off until next week. Please let us know any questions you might have. Contact us by phone number, by email, or here on Facebook. Have a good week, everyone. Bye.